So says, hi my special ones. It's so good to be here with you guys again, conversing. Of course, So says is a conversation of a lifetime. So we're going to be talking for a long time. Today I want to talk about empathy. I know I always close all my so says with practice your empathy, and I give a bit of example. And I reasoned today that empathy might as well deserve its own episode. So basically, empathy in the dictionary is defined by the ability to feel somebody else's feelings. It's very different from sympathy, which is feeling sorry for somebody's condition. Now, in as much as it's almost impossible to feel what another person is feeling, which is basically the work of an actor, is to put yourself in somebody else's position. What empathy calls us to do is to try to keep an open mind and try and understand why that person is doing something, try and understand how it could probably feel for that person. And when we remove our own subjectivity and just try and see it from somebody else's eyes, it makes us more understanding as human beings. That's why empathy is so important. I always just give a simple example which has a religious backing, which is what you don't want somebody else to do to you, don't do it to another person, because that's empathy. That's putting yourself in another person's shoes, saying, I don't like this, so I won't do it. So while I was thinking about empathy today's Sunday, I was, thinking about empathy. Empathy is my religion. I started thinking a lot about social media, and two things struck me. I've seen a lot of arguments start purely on the basis of somebody left an indirect comment, under your post, and you feel offended by it. And it got me thinking, we say somebody left an indirect comment. Indirect is the first word we use to describe it, and indirect probably says that the person doesn't really want an all-out confrontation. The person is trying to avoid trouble with you, so they put it indirectly to let you know how they feel. And I feel like we should judge the first word before we jump to the second word. So I think we should somehow appreciate that this person is being coy and saying it indirectly, and not just jump to the comment and say, oh, I'm offended. Try and take in the fact that the person thought about it and said, okay, I don't want to say this directly, it's going to hurt, so I'm going to be indirect about it. I think just that approach should count for something, and you should actually think about it and say, okay, this person is trying to avoid trouble with me, but is just trying to have their say, and we're all allowed to have our say. And I think that's something we should consider and evaluate before rushing to judgments. The same goes for polite insults. The word polite is the first descriptor before the insult. So I think you should take into cognizance that the person who is saying this to you is actually not really trying to offend you, or not really trying, or maybe they are, but at least their approach is trying to be less confrontational, less aggressive. So they're being polite, then insulting you. So when you're evaluating such things, take that into consideration. Don't just go saying, oh, he was politely insulting me and so I'm mad, because that means you're discounting the word polite before the word insult. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I really hope I am. So when you're thinking about these things, think about, okay, yeah, he insulted me, but he was kind of polite about it, so maybe I just let it skip. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to take everything so personal and so serious. There has to be space in your heart to just let things go, and it's for your own good, because if you can let a lot of things go, you live with a very light heart. The same goes for apologies. If I'm apologizing to you now, it means that the grievance is in the past. So we're always advised to live in the now, be present. So take what's present, take what's in front of you, which is the apology, and kind of let the grievance go. I'm not saying open yourself up to be hurt again by the person. I mean, be careful. But I just sometimes hear people talking about things that happened months ago, years ago. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Let it go. Life is long and short at the same time. If you depend on how you view it. Now, Socrates, the popular Greek philosopher, has a saying that he says, before you say anything to somebody, think about it. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? I would go a step further than just weighing these before comments, to even weighing these before thoughts. Because even though you're not saying it out to the person, when you fester, or is it foster, lots of negative thoughts, it seeps out in your actions. So that's why somebody might just be like, hey, what's up? You're like, hey, what was it? And then you're like, whoa, person's like, what did I do? It's because you've been thinking about something about that person for so long that you're just reacting. So for me, I would say, even when I think the height of empathy and the height of emotional intelligence is learning to control your thoughts. So for example, I was scrolling on Instagram today and I saw this picture of a colleague of mine, and I started thinking, this girl, how is she affording this? And immediately I said to myself, Sylvia, why are you thinking about this? Is it necessary? Waiting concern you? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. So mastering your thoughts, I think, is more important than just sieving your words, which is because we're always advised only to sieve our words. Or if it's not kind, if it's not nice, don't say it. No, if it's not nice, don't even think it. You can do it. You are the master of both your own thoughts and your own emotions. Be very aware when your mind starts to wander away to silly thoughts. Be very aware and bring it back. And when you practice this awareness deliberately, they will get to a point in time where your mind will automatically kick in and begin to sieve them out for you. It's kind of like muscle memory. You work out for such a long time and you stop, your muscles will retain that memory for a while. You still look fit. I'm not saying don't work out, always work out, but that's the truth. Is I think this advice on sieving what you say is wrong. Sieve what you think, because those thoughts are eating you up from the inside, and even though you're not saying it, you're dying slowly. So I think it is more, I can't say more enough. It is more important to think about your thoughts. So think about what you're thinking about. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And if it doesn't meet these three criteria, switch thoughts. Think about something funny, or think about the last time somebody made you smile or something. Think positive thoughts, mind over matter. Be very aware of your thoughts, because I find that sometimes our thoughts run away with us. But what I have noticed that since I started practicing deliberacy in my thinking, I'm kind of having a better control over it, where my mind is kind of checking itself. So I'm watching something and I'm thinking, oh, look at her shoe. And then my mind says, Sylvia, why are you thinking about her shoe? Focus on the show. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. So you begin to, you kind of become your own regulatory body, so to speak. So yeah, that's my success. Practice your empathy, control your thoughts, be very aware of your thinking. You can do it. It's not magic. It doesn't happen in 1 week or 1 month, but with deliberate practice, you get better at it, which is why I never say be empathetic, or I always say practice your empathy, because it's like working out. The more you do it, the stronger your body becomes, the more your abs look good. So practice it. It's not easy, it doesn't come at once, but if you just put a bit of thought to it every single day, as the days go by, you find yourself becoming more compassionate and more understanding and basically more open-minded. And when you adopt these principles, strangely enough, what will start happening is that you start seeing them reflected back to you, because we're basically soundboards. A lot of times what we give out is what we get. So when you start being very understanding to people, like, oh yeah, I get you, I can relate, it's not good, but I can relate, you kind of see people give that back to you and be like, yeah, you're cool, you're all right. And that symphony and bond begins to develop. So that's it. Always practice your empathy. Short story long. What you don't want someone to do to you or think about you, don't do it to another person. And always remember that I love you. Thank you, my special ones.